Hello and welcome to the Student Support Portal. The portal is an online community of students, educational professionals and parents of students with a disability who want to keep up to date with the latest developments in assistive technology. Next we have Fintan Connolly from TakeTen. Fintan, hello.
Good morning, Michael.
Fintan, can you tell us a little bit about TakeTen first of all?
TakeTen is a stress management software. It's principally for kids to help them learn how to develop the skill of self-regulation, how to be able to self-regulate their thoughts, their feelings, their emotions. And it does that with biofeedback. Simply little ear clip onto their earlobe, measures their heart rhythms, which are a very good indicator of the emotional state, and then trains them how to manage their body's response to stress.
Okay, and we're obviously in the middle of Autism Awareness Month at the minute. Is there a particular angle of your program and your software which would benefit students with autism?
Yeah, as you well know, Michael, autism and kids on the autistic spectrum, one of the biggest issues for them are number one, dealing with transitions and dealing with change, which for them is very stressful. Number two is actually trying to fit in with other people and trying to be the same as everyone else. But emotions are a construct for a lot of kids with autism, which they find difficult. So what TakeTen does, it literally shows them what their feelings look like, so they can see their feelings as such, and giving them a visual construct of emotions is a real eye-opener and a real light bulb moment for a lot of kids with autism, because it gives them something that they can have an auditory input plus a visual input into, which they don't normally have. Sometimes when we mention emotions and feelings to kids with autism, it's something they find they struggle to grasp with. So for example, if I show you the screen on the TakeTen, what they do is they clip this onto their earlobe here.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have four choices. They can watch the heart rhythms, they can play a game, and the games on this only work whenever you're calm. So the games respond to their physiology. They've also got mindfulness meditations, which actually monitor the child while they're meditating, so it can let you see how well meditation on the auditory actually works for them. And then there's the progress. It lets them see how their body's progressing and how they're developing those self-regulation skills over time. So it's a very simple. So if I go on to this, it gets them to check in with their feelings first of all. And once it's basically got their heart rhythms, and once it's got the data straight away, what will happen is it lets you see what zone that you're in. So what you see here are my heart rhythms, and it's now telling me that I'm in the red zone. And the red zone is the zone where we're more unsettled and slightly, sometimes under pressure. What we need to do is to teach them how to get their heart, lungs, and brain lighting up in the green zone. That's the state where we're calm and in a much more focused state. So you can see how erratic my heart rhythms are now. What I need to do is to shift and change my breathing patterns. So if I just do that very briefly for you, let's see if we can make a change.
Yes, I see that changing color.
So all of a sudden, my heart rhythms now start to become much more even, more ordered, and more balanced. What that does, that starts to send information from the heart to the brain. The brain now is getting the information that I'm starting to calm down. It no longer needs stress hormones. So all of a sudden, the body starts to calm down. And that's exactly what we want. It's about training kids how to manage that and give them a visual on how to manage that. And that's the key behind this. I'll always go back to one quotation a young man with autism gave me when I first used it, and it was in a school in Croydon, and he said to me, "Thank you." He said that this is the first time I've ever seen my feelings. I've never seen my feelings before, and that really resonated with me, because then I realized we've got something here that really appeals to particularly young people with autism, because it allows them to takes away the eye-to-eye contact of sometimes people asking about emotions, and allows them just to focus on something. And iPads for a lot of kids on the spectrum are very compelling anyway. So it allows us to educate them through that and then help to train them with it.
Okay, and if a child was in school Fintan, would they be able to take a few minutes out and do this in school? Is that the idea, that they do it as they're feeling stressed and anxious?
Absolutely. And it nearly becomes a digital classroom assistant, because what happens is when the children in school understand that they're starting to escalate, or when the classroom teacher sees that one of the children need a bit of time, they basically say, okay, I need to take 10. And they get the iPad. They can either use it discreetly in the classroom, or they can leave the classroom and go to a communal area outside, just to allow themselves to bring themselves back into a calmer state. Some of the schools have developed what's called a TakeTen timeout card. So when the teacher, if a child, particularly a teenager, said feel themselves sort of escalating, they just flash the TakeTen timeout card at the teacher. The teacher said, okay, that's fine, off you go. They go and use TakeTen, and then whenever they're calm, they come back into the classroom.
Very good. And you mentioned earlier that a child will go out and try and do some meditation to bring that down.
Yeah.
Does your program include that, or do they use an additional resource to do that?
No, there are meditations on the software. And what happens is whenever they click the little ear sensor on, they listen to the meditation ear with earphones, but it monitors their progress during that meditation. So you can see afterwards, is that child responding well to meditation, for example? And sometimes kids with autism, auditory works really, really well for them as well. So what we do in the classroom, there's also classroom meditations for TakeTen to meet transitions. So if a teacher's about to meet a transition point in the class, which is difficult for a lot of children, what happens is the teacher goes up to the whiteboard, she clicks on TakeTen, all of a sudden an auditory program comes on and said, okay, everyone, put your books down, it's time to take 10. So they close their eyes, relax their shoulders, guides them into that green zone that they need to be in. And what you're really trying to do is to get kids used to this whole concept of, when we meet a transition, we self-regulate. Meet a transition, we self-regulate. So that children then know that whenever they have to leave the classroom to go to another class, or to lunchtime, after break time, those key moments where those transitions can be quite stressful for a lot of kids, the teacher has a resource that becomes inclusive for all the class, so it's not the child with autism that's particularly singled out.
This interview was part of our Publishers and Manufacturers series of interviews. If you'd like more information on the products that were discussed in the interview, please go to the portal Assistive Technology section and start a conversation. Thanks for watching.